go.
Hi, everybody. It's Stacy Sobel from Salon Today, and I'm with Michael Yost from Strategies, who's just come off their annual event. And you drilled down and talked a lot about communication, but we're talking a little bit about authentic transformation, and that you designed this conference and talked a lot about heart and smart. So talk us through that. What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, hard and smart is pretty straightforward in the sense that what we know is this. Everyone, we could look at our lives in general, but let's be honest, we'll talk about this even from a business standpoint. We're all made up of, there's a component of our business of this kind of the heart side of our business, and that's the authentic side. You mentioned authentic transformation, and that was kind of the theme for a lot of what we did. So the heart side is that that authentic side, the who we are side, right? But then we also know there's the component that's we'll say maybe the systems side or the smart side, or really what we talked about, the transformation side. And really that's the what we do side of it. So really business is a combination of who we are and what we do, the authentic and the transformation, and that heart and the smart. I mean, those are the places where this really comes together. And that's kind of the foundation for this idea behind authentic transformation. Because as we kind of looked at this and as we kind of dig deeper into this, what we can see is this can really impact any area of our business, especially. Because it all goes through kind of these same steps and these same kind of components that all tie into this. So it's really cool, and it's really been something we're super passionate about.
So is that something that you, when you're coaching with a coaching client, are talking about? Are they looking at it from both those angles, the heart, the smart? Or they're tackling a specific problem, but you've got to look at it from
No, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So let me give you, I mean, here's an example. Of this heart and the smart, authentic and the transformation, the who we are and the what we do. So if we looked at, as an example, if we looked at the fact that the first kind of, if you want to think about this in kind of some levels, we can say the first thing we need to create is, what experience are we creating for our team and the people that we work with? And in general, and we could even apply this to the customer service and experience for the client and all that. At the core, the authentic side is we have to create an experience that has to create safety and belonging and recognition, that people feel seen, right? That's what recognition is really about. It's like, how do we make someone else feel seen? It's not just saying, hey, Stacy, great job, in front of a group of people. Certainly that's one form of recognition, and I'm not discounting that. But we also need to make people feel seen in the way that someone says something to you in the break room, or someone passes along an idea to you if you're in that leadership type of role. How do we make that voice heard? How do we make that person feel seen? It doesn't mean that we have to enact that or put that into place, but how can I acknowledge that and not just brush it off? How does that person feel recognized? And that's really what recognition's about, because we all desire that. Think about it in our personal lives. We all want that same thing. And when it comes to like safety and belonging, we have to start there. Because if someone doesn't feel safe in your environment, and safety can be given by, the fact that maybe someone feels as though someone might not feel safe because they don't feel like they have the right amount of skills for a particular position, and their skills maybe are weakened. That's not going to make them feel safe. The way we make someone feel belong, part of our culture, how we create those outlets, those all create belonging. So that's just a real quick, maybe like 2-minute there, but it gives you the sense of it. But the other side at that same experiences level, if on one side you've got the heart of that, the authentic side of that, the who we are, side of that, we have to look at the smart side, the transformation, the what we do. And the action that creates that is communication. And so how are we communicating? And do we have, and here's what I've fine, Stacy. And already we're all of like probably 4 minutes into this as I look at my watch, and I'm already going to make a group of people mad out there. But I'll make the bold statement and say there's a whole lot of you, and I'm going to include myself in this, certainly, definitely at times where we're really bad communicators. Simple as that. We're terrible communicators. And we need to really work on that, because communication is a skill. We talk a lot, but communication is it's a different animal than talking a lot. And communication means that we are relaying ideas and thoughts and hearing people and actively listening to people. That's communication at its core. And so we need to really be key to set up really strong, definitive times that we communicate, whether it's a morning huddle and the way we start out our day. Maybe it's in meeting with someone on a regular basis, like a one-on-one. Maybe it's team meetings or performance reviews. We need to set up strong lines of communication and not just cross our fingers and hope that the information gets shared the right way. So that's so when we coach with someone, really, we can already start looking and saying, hey, where is our authentic side, the heart side, the who we are side, meeting up with what we need to do side? And so it absolutely blends together in multiple different ways. Just talking about this one area only as a great example of that.
Well, and then when you're talking about communication, that's a two-way street. I mean, you've got the person that's trying to communicate the idea and the person that's trying to understand it. But the person who's trying to understand that form of communication doesn't work for everybody. Sometimes the one-on-one's more effective for someone. Sometimes kind of a coaching, cheerleading, rah-rah session with the team's more effective for someone else. Some people need visual cues, so I think you have to think about who you're communicating with and how they absorb or receive information best.
Right. Well, I mean, what you're just referencing, and yes, spot on 100% to everything you said. And a lot of that goes to exactly what we're talking about. That's great illustrations of how we make someone feel as though they belong. So remember, we're talking base thing you got to create. If it's safety, belonging, and recognition, what you just gave great examples is meeting people where they are. I'm going to kind of paraphrase it back into, as you just perfectly gave examples of, meeting people where they are and understanding their lines and how they like to be communicated with. Not only makes them feel more like they belong, because they can go, cool, Stacy gets me. There's a relationship that automatically is going to make them feel in a more safety, in a stronger, safer environment. And they're also going to feel more recognized. I mean, it's almost one of those things where it's like you do one thing and it triggers other areas as well right around it. So, if I could, one of the things when we talk about coaching, one of the things, communication is probably the first place that we love to start working with companies. Because if you cannot communicate and set up the tools around you that communicate with you, because again, strategies, especially if the few things that if you're not familiar with strategies, maybe the one things you do know is we're big into numbers, and that's a big part of us. Well, yes, it's a big part of us. Why? Because not for the reason numbers are important, but they're important because they communicate a story to you about your business, not because it's about driving numbers home. It's because those numbers tell us a story and they communicate. And what they communicate is really the actions and the behaviors of the company. So without getting too far off track, coming back to, if we really set up our lines of communication, personal one-on-one like you and I are doing now, but also if we get good, strong communication, here's an interesting way to look at safety, belonging, and recognition, right? Because we're talking about a person, but guess what? Your business needs to feel safe as well. So if we're communicating, in other words, if we're using some of the metrics and we're measuring our key critical numbers, whether it's through scoreboards or other outlets, right? But we know what is healthy for our company, and we see that those numbers are communicating with us. And how we impact those allows the company to feel safe.
Right.
So, that allows then us as members of the company to feel safe. When the company is healthy and doing well, then we all feel better about being a part of that company. So it's very interesting. Like I said, it is a very much a two-way street. And like I said, my biggest thing is to say we are terrible communicators. And if there's one thing to work on is you get your communication right, you will be amazed at how many other things get easier in your business.
Fall into line.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Well, this interview is for our coaching guide. So I do want to spend one quick moment on the value of working with a business coach. What do you think is one of the key benefits from hiring a coach, whether it's strategies or
Yeah. I mean, I think in general, I think it's just having an accountability partner. Simple as that. And, I know you're doing many of these interviews and things of that nature. And I wouldn't be shocked if that wasn't the standardized answer.
I've heard it a time or two.
What's that?
I've heard it a time or two.
Exactly. And for the reason that, again, we all need someone. It's as simple as that. I mean, we are by nature, we are collaborative as humans. And so it's always great to hear when I say accountability, I want to frame it up from the way I would view it. It means that I have someone that comes alongside of me and not necessarily tells me what to do, because that's not coaching. That's a consulting. You know what I mean? Coaching is helping. At least this is how we view it as strategies. Coaching is I'm trying to coach you to build a skill or an aptitude or a strength to improve yourself, not tell you what to do. That to me isn't the definition of coaching. Right. We like to go, all right, hey, listen. Now, there are times where certainly I'm going to give you advice. Certainly I'm going to give you my thoughts and my input. But coaching is helping you come to a realization of what is best for you, but gaining and building a skill so that down the road we can keep reapplying those skills. And so really, I think the biggest benefit to coaching is having someone there to be, I say, accountability partner, but that just means someone there that you can use as a soundboard, use as someone that can, maybe at times we all need to be held a little bit accountable. That's why we love to have a partner if you work out with someone at the gym, it's like making sure you're showing up and doing the right exercises in the morning and things like that. Sometimes we just need that to go, hey, listen, let's get the work done that we need to get done, keep us focused. But more than that, I think the bigger part of it is just someone there that helps us grow a strength in ourselves. And I think that's really what it comes down to. And I think that's the real benefit.
Oh, I love that. And you're talking about humans being collaborative, but salon owners as nature, it's a solo, unless you have a partner, it's a pretty lonely world at the top. So
it can feel that way for sure. Yes, it can. Speaking from personal experience, those that don't know my story, I was a business owner myself in our industry, hairdresser by trade for 25 years. And actually it's how I ended up where I am now. It's a crazy story that we don't have time for, but I started out in exactly the same position. I attended classes, numerous classes, various areas, but attended a strategies class in particular, and to me, it was so powerful that it became the opportunity where I was like, I need to do more with, and I became someone that sought out a mentorship and a coaching aspect. And then for my own self, because I didn't know anything about my business. And so I thought I did, but I discovered I really didn't. Yeah. And again, sometimes it can feel very alone. And it was nice to have a coach there. To be a voice and be someone that was a cheerleader. Sometimes as coaches, sometimes when I get in calls with people that I get the pleasure of working with, sometimes it's just got to be, sometimes I'm just a cheerleader to say, you're not alone. It's okay. We're going to get through this. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, great. Well, Michael, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And love the concept that we talked about today and the valuable role of communication. So
Awesome.
Thank
Well,
you so
thank you, Stacy.
Okay.